So your organization played one of the most important roles in the nation during the pandemic. Uh, I personally had taken a lot of RT-PCR tests from Suburban, and that experience was very, very good and very assuring when you would get the negative test result, obviously. Would you like to share the stories that went through your organization, how you all tackled this, how
Yeah,
you all working with the government? There's a lot, I
there's a
know.
lot.
So
There's a
for you
lot.
to summarize it in this short conversation, I know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the story of COVID starts before COVID. Uh, and it started when we had this pandemic of or epidemic of H1N1, swine flu.
Yeah.
That happened about 3 or 4 years before COVID hit. The platform or the technology needed to test for swine flu is called molecular diagnostics. And Suburban Diagnostics was not equipped with that technology at that point of time. So the small team that we gathered, we thought, we should be a part of this. We must have the technology available to test for swine flu. And why is it that we don't have this? So we went all out and we, procured some infrastructure and equipment and got the right team in place. And then we went, I personally remember going to St. George Hospital where they have the cell for giving approvals, made an application, and fortunately we were given the permission to test for it. So we tested for swine flu. Not a big volume in terms of business, but I felt satisfied that we now have the technology. And that technology can be used largely for either infectious diseases or cancer. There are two big applications for that. So we said, let's focus on the infectious diseases side. But I said, before doing that, as has always been my habit, that we will go in for NABL accreditation, even for molecular diagnostics. Even if we have to do this, let's do it fully well. So my team said, no, it's not required. It's very expensive. Anyways, we're hardly getting any workload out here. Why are we spending so much money? This is not going to work. I said, no. करना है तो अच्छे से करो, नहीं तो we don't want to do it half-heartedly. So went ahead and got NABL accreditation done. Cut to March 2020. The government of India, when they had to appoint labs for COVID testing, looked at all the labs that have molecular diagnostics that are NABL accredited and that had done H1N1 testing, because the type of virus that H1N1 is similar is the COVID virus. It's RNA virus. So on 20th of March 2020, 4 labs in the country were approved for COVID testing. We were one of them. We had already started the work 4 years ago. A month before that, I told the team, again, this is just gut feel of an entrepreneur sometimes, right? That go ahead and find where the kit is available for COVID testing. There was no lockdown, there wasn't anything. It was still in China and Southeast Asia. But I said, I don't know when. Let's go ahead and get the kit. We figured out where the kit is available, got the kit, standardized it, sent an application to ICMR that we are ready with the COVID test. No response, nothing happened to that email. But on 20th of March 2020, we got the approval that you have been given approval for COVID testing. Because we had all the kits, everything ready, we put our hand up and said, we can test from tomorrow. So it took a couple of days. 24th of March 2020, we did our first COVID test. And why I remember that date so well, it happens to be my birthday on 24th of March.
Oh.
The whole world was on the back foot with their backs against the wall. We were one of those few healthcare service providers in the world given the opportunity to come on the front foot and to help.
Yeah.
So it's a huge privilege,
100%.
huge opportunity to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
My phone number was given to the BMC as the helpline number. So on my birthday, I got 350 calls asking how can we get a COVID test done. So 350 birthday wishes in a different way, if I can put it that way. Of course, then I transferred that number to somebody else in the team eventually. But that is how we started. So we started with doing 1 or 2 tests to the Delta wave that happened. We were doing 15,000 tests a day. Our corporate office was broken down, converted into a COVID lab. So we were all working remotely. We didn't have a corporate office.
Okay.
The entire leadership team was on the ground, in the trenches, working with the team. motivating people. How do you convince people to go to somebody's house, wear that PPE?
Yeah.
So we were there, I was there, the entire leadership team was there. Once the first two technicians got convinced, it became like a snowball effect. And the entire team then volunteered. We had to recruit part-time people to manage that. Then we had multiple shifts. And if somebody in the shift tested positive, then the entire shift was isolated for 10 days. So then to manage with just one shift, we had to rent out hotels close by because people could not go home. We had ambulances that would go from 4 a.m. in the morning to people's houses to pick them up and bring them to the lab and then take them back with BMC permission. Public-private partnership at its best
Right.
happened during COVID. And that is how I think India managed the crisis beautifully. ICMR played a phenomenal role. State governments played an excellent role. Private labs stepped up. All NABL accreditation happened online. From few labs, few hundred labs came up. What used to cost 4,500 rupees for a test right at the beginning ended up costing 300 rupees. Suppliers brought down cost. We learned how to optimize. We never once stopped. Even if the cost came down, we didn't stop testing. I mean, we feel extremely proud that, at this point of time, we were able to give back. And I think this was perhaps my crowning glory, if I can call it that. Uh, we were able to truly give back to society what we were made to do.
Thank you for sharing this. It means a lot, and the efforts the whole team and the whole country put together is
Yeah, absolutely.
out of it.
Yeah.